Hello,
Howdy.
and welcome to another old school or new school. We're your hosts. I'm Lance, and this is,
Nick.
yeah, usually we say it the opposite way because that's the way it's written in the title, but
There.
I'm introducing this one, so I go first.
Tell me whatever order you want.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. But we need it to have, it has to be across the board consistent.
Yeah.
Yes, so tonight we will be reviewing Clash of the Titans 1981. Yes.
Okay.
Against Clash of the Titans 2010.
And you can see I didn't have the original Clash, but I had the DVD for the new one, and so I brought Wrath of the Titans because I own the DVD for the sequel. Make of that what you will.
I mean, if I search hard enough, I could probably find my old DVD case for the original Clash around here because I know I own it. But anyways, yeah, we thought it'd be fun to compare the Clash movies.
Yeah, why not? We're looking for some. We've got a bunch of ideas kicking around, and this one was one I think we just kind of threw out there. One was on HBO Max, one I had at home. Bam, no one had to rent anything. Nice and easy. A nice free one, essentially, because we've already free because, I already pay for HBO Max, and I bought that DVD a long time. So it's not free, but free as in I don't have to spend any more money.
Yeah, but this is a very low budget operation.
Low budget.
So contribute to our Patreon, and it will still be low budget because it doesn't exist. Yeah. So normal format.
Yeah.
We give our ratings, and then we go into spoilers. So
and we'll give ratings for
both
the original,
yes,
and then for the remake.
Yes. So Nick.
Yes.
If you had to give the original 1981 Clash of the Titans a 0 to 10, what would you give it?
I think I'm going to give this one a 6. As in, I kind of liked it.
Okay. As always, I am one off.
Oh, so close.
So close.
So close.
So,
what would you give the original Clash of the Titans?
So, don't show your card yet.
I know. I got it right here.
Kid Me would give the original Clash of the Titans an 8.
Okay.
Adult me watching it all over again, I'd give it a 6.
Ooh, one off. So close.
So, yeah. And we'll get into more of that in a second.
Let me flop to my next number.
So now,
Okay. So, Lance, what would you give the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans?
the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans, I would give. See, I gave the 81 a 6. I'd give it a 7.
Ooh, I had him flipped. So close, I had him flipped.
Okay. All right. And I know right now there are people that are like, get the fuck out of here right now. I'll explain. So, Nick, what would you give it?
You got your number ready?
I do.
Okay. I think I'm also going to give this one a 6. Hey.
All right. So I got one right.
You did. So, I mean, at this point in time, these movies are old. You can watch Clash on HBO Max. I think the other one. I think the new one you have to rent somewhere, but check them out. I think they're both worth it. They both are showing off movies. I think the original is showing off kind of that stop motion, and this one's kind of showing off the 3D,
the special effects.
And I think that's kind of to the detriment of both a little bit. So in this one, I gave both of them 6s, and now it's a matter of which one's better, because now we're dealing with decimal points.
Okay, so we're getting into spoiler territory, but like he said, these are both old movies, so you've either watched them or you haven't.
And I think they're both worth watching. I think if you like Greek mythology, but don't really like Greek mythology, because at that point in time you're going to be pissed about who the fuck is Calibos, and why is Theta in Olympus, and what the fuck is it? Why is a Kraken in Greek mythology? There's no Kraken, and that's not even a Kraken.
This isn't how the story went, or this isn't how it went in real life. Well, it didn't happen in real life. Yeah, it's a story.
Yeah, he didn't throw her up around Pegasus. Pegasus sprouted from the decapitated head of Medusa.
Okay, so you're getting way more into it than I invested in it. So, spoiler territory.
Yeah.
I guess he just told you spoilers for the original story.
That's for the Greek mythology. If you're not caught up on your Greek mythology, that's where Medusa comes from.
So, you talking in original Greek mythology, he cut off Medusa's head and the Pegasus sprang from it?
Yeah.
So it's like he cut off the head and like I gotta go kill the Kraken.
Yeah, so
And
here's this wing core.
and then it was like, okay, how the fuck am I gonna get there? I guess I can call an Uber.
Yeah.
Or did he have like all the time in the world to cross the fucking?
I don't know it that well. I suppose.
Okay.
I know bits of it.
All right, we'll get into it. But anyways, spoilers. Abandon all sense of spoilery.
Yeah.
Ye who enter past here. So
I didn't know Medusa was in this movie.
yeah, right. So
Perseus.
if I was to give, so younger me,
Yeah.
when I watched this movie, I fucking loved this movie when I was a kid. But I'll be honest with you, I had no fucking clue the depth of storyline that was going on in that movie when I was a kid. It was only when I watched it now that I was like, there's an actual point A, point B, point C. Like, there's an actual, like, to me, it was like I saw a boob twice in the movie when I was a kid. I was like, this movie's fucking good.
I know, like, so it's PG-13. No, it's PG movie.
Yeah.
Boobs twice.
Yeah, twice. Like, full on, straight on boob. And it was like,
Well, one's full on, the other one's half.
yeah, kind of, you get
From the-
side
from the
boob.
side. You
Yeah,
get
you get
side
some, but it's excellent side boob. But like, yeah, young me, it was just like, this movie's fucking amazing.
Fucking A+.
Yeah. And back in '81, like that stop motion animation, that shit was good.
Yeah, that it's, you definitely get the sense that they're kind of like showing it off. When like the Medusa would like crawl out and he's kind of like, and she's like looking around, they're kind of like, check out fucking how cool this Medusa is. And when the Kraken's coming out and he's like, look at me, I'm the Kraken, like, check out how fucking cool this Kraken is, and like all this shit I can do.
Yeah. It's that it had to have been at the top of its game at that point. If I was to give that movie a synopsis now, it would be son of super rich guy. It has no limits to what he can do when his father is completely funding him.
Yeah. Like Zeus is, so I mean, in mythology, Zeus is a dick. In Clash of the Titans, Zeus is a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's a huge dick.
But like Theda's like, here's my son Calibos. What like Acritia knows? It's Calibos because Acritia's with someone else.
Yes.
And they're like, would you be merciful on him? Nah, fuck this guy. He looks like this now. Fuck him.
Yeah, well, he's going to marry... so, yeah, here's my son, Calibos. He's going to marry this Andromeda, and she's the most beautiful. And it's like, okay, cool. And then, like, one dude's just like, fuck you, Zeus. And he's like, fuck me?
Fuck me?
Fuck you.
Fuck you, dude.
And, like, man, he really, like, he really fucks him over.
And then when it comes to his own son, it's like, well, your own son's being kind of a piece of shit, too. Nah, you give him a magic sword, you give him a magic shield, you give him a magic helmet.
And you give him a magic cloak.
Yeah, well, it was magic helmet. He didn't have a cloak. He got a...
So, yeah, the helmet made him disappear.
The helmet made him invisible.
Yeah.
And then later when he's like, oh, he lost some of your shit. No, give him your owl. She's like, fuck him.
Fuck you.
Fuck him. Just give me your fucking owl.
So then they made Bubo. Hephaestus made Bubo, sent him down to the planet, and then Bubo basically did what he was supposed to do. Yeah. I know you're not crazy about Bubo.
I didn't really like Bubo.
I loved Bubo back in the day.
Again, it's in a lot of... They are showing off, like, look how cool this thing is. And at this point in time, it's janky, and he's making that annoying whistling sound. And I'm like, get him hurry the fuck up. Land him on the fucking tree. I don't need to see him, like...
Yeah.
For like 3 minutes, land on the thing and fall over. Ooh, it's so wacky. It's like, stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Isn't he silly? Isn't he funny? But yeah, like like to me, that was all super impressive back in the day. Watching it now, I'm just kind of like, it's still pretty good.
It's neat.
Like,
I'm not going to fault it for looking janky nowadays. I mean, of course it looks janky.
But I mean, there's so much stop motion. The Kraken, the Scorpions, Medusa, Bubo, Calibos. Like, it's impressive the amount of money they dumped into this movie. And I still like that had to have been like today. That would have had to have been like a fucking $500 million, $600 million movie.
Yeah.
By that standard. But yeah, like younger me, like I had no idea what was going on. It was like a dude flying around with magic sword and shit,
fighting like some weird goat man in the fucking swamp.
Yeah,
like turning invisible and being like clever about it, like that kind of shit. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And so the movie for Perseus, it had Harry Hamlin, and there's not a huge who's who in this movie.
I mean, I guess nowadays, if you're not familiar with it, Maggie Smith from the Harry Potter series,
Professor McGonagall,
yeah, is Theta, one of the goddesses that is the mother of Calibos, and
yeah,
he gets fucked over, so she's like trying to be nice to him, I guess, and give him little bits of heads up.
It's got Burgess Meredith, who was the Penguin in the old school Adam West Batman.
All right, was he also in he looks familiar. Was he in Grumpy Old Men?
He was.
Okay,
He was Jack Lemmon's dad.
Okay.
And he's also Globulus in the G.I. Joe animated movie. He's Mickey in fucking Rocky.
Okay.
You're a bomb rock.
Okay.
So yeah, Burgess Meredith's got a long, super fucking awesome, a lot of movies behind him. But other than that, there's a lot of people I don't recognize. I know Neil McCarthy, who was Calibos, but like I know him from like being that guy in some older movies that I liked. Pat Roach is another name that I recognize, but when I was going across his resume, he's like another that guy.
Yeah, you pointed him out as Time Bandit. It says like some random guy maybe.
Yeah, well, in Time Bandits, I'm positive he was the dude who was punching people the fuck out. He was like one of John Cleese, Robin Hood's merry men, and I think he was the guy that was like, when Robin Hood's like giving out the treasure to the poor, like the guy's like knocking the fuck out of everybody that gets in. He's like, "Is that absolutely necessary?" And the guy's like, and there's a dude that's like a translator for him. And he's like, "Yeah," he says it is. I'm pretty sure he was the dude that was like speaking the gibberish.
Okay.
And then he's like been in a lot of other stuff like Red Sonja, Conan. I mean, like he's got a lot of weighty movies behind him.
I don't want to make fun of Perseus, but I mean, like with that hair framed the way it is and his big strong jaw and his little tiny face, just been like, man, he looks like he's just kind of, his face didn't grow into his head.
Yeah, well, Harry Hamlin is like one of those dudes who's been in quite a bit of stuff, but it's like it's not the top shelf stuff. So he's been in, if I'm to do a quick filmography on him, he's been in 92 things, and he is still going today.
Wow.
So let's see.
I don't think he wasn't super familiar to me.
Well, it's like it's one of those new names that I knew, but not necessarily from this movie. So, going real quick through his repertoire, he's been in episodes of Mad Men as Jim Cutler. He's been in Shameless. I've never watched that show.
It's just going to be a bunch of things I've never heard of.
Yeah, he was in Franklin and Bash. That was a good show.
Yeah, who knows?
Hey, that's cool. He did the voice of Perseus in God of War 2.
Huh. How nice.
That's neat. Okay, that's a good throwback. Good on you, Sony. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that just does not stand out. But the guy is, at least he's been constantly working.
And for getting breast shots in this, we're like this close to getting nut shots because the skirt that Perseus wears is riding mighty high.
Yeah. Yeah, but like that. Yeah, it's the whole the whole fucking
the tunic, like pretty much like you got nuts and then you got tunic.
Yeah.
So you think if you ever reached up to catch a thing, you'd probably peeking balls.
If you've ever been wondering where the miniskirt came from, just look in like Greek mythology, because like all those guys were like, they like their balls to be breezy. Apparently.
I mean, can't fault them. I don't like pants either.
Well, you know, I get it, but it's still.
I have a running thesis that you're never truly happy when you're wearing pants.
I wear pants a lot.
But are you ever truly happy? Think about all the times in which you're pantsless and truly happy, and the times that you're pantsed and truly happy. Which ones outweigh?
No, I'm sad. Well, I'm wearing shorts right now, so I guess I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. You need nut room to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I like wearing pants because, like, at least it keeps my nuts in like the same kind of place. Whereas, like, shorts, it's like on the left, and now I'm over the right, and I'm just gonna hang it down here.
You just need to get yourself some more supportive underwear.
So I've discovered with Jackson that I need to start wearing pants more, because when I'm wearing shorts, he likes to like roll over and like crawl up me and like get, so like I get a lot of knees to the nuts right now, and it's like if it's not a normal day unless Jackson at least treads on my nuts at least once. So yeah, I get a break.
Time to cage those bad boys.
Yeah. Like I make the joke almost every night to Amber. It's like I'm buying a cup. It's happening, but yeah. But yeah, no, this movie, it's a stop motion fucking extravaganza. The acting is good. Like some of the stuff that I wanted to talk mainly about was like, I love the Hall of Souls, where like you have all the miniature figurines of like the people.
Which they borrowed for the remake as well. I think it's easier to see in the original one, whereas in the remake they kind of like fly through it real quick and just kind of don't pay much mind to it.
So there's a scene I want to talk about with that, in the movie, and I think you know which scene I'm talking about because it was pretty fucking awesome.
Was it near the end where like they're all fall like
Yes.
as they're dying they're like
when they're raining?
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that part was fucking dope.
It's dope. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like you had Harry Hamlin where he went to do all of his little missions. Then he
with his magic items. I like how he kind of had his friend along with him, his actor guy.
right.
And it's like, here's your helmet, here's your shield, here's your sword. And he's like, fucking dope. And I'm gonna do some stuff. He like puts on the helmet, peeps out. Andromeda sees that her soul is leaving at night and getting kidnapped by a giant eagle, which they hold onto that eagle or the vulture a long fucking time. And that thing's loud as fuck. I'm like, stop with the eagle.
Speaking of loud, annoying noises.
Yeah,
in the movie.
stop with the vulture, please. I mean,
Yeah.
You could show the vulture. I don't need to hear it go. Like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
All
that's so. I was watching this movie. Initially, I had headphones on. The first time, it's like, back. I was like, no.
All right, enough of that. So, and gets taken to see Calibos, and that's where she's getting the riddle that she's giving to all the people that she has to riddle before you can marry her. If you don't say the riddle, they like burn you alive or some shit.
Yeah. And see, that's further where I was like disillusioned with the movie because it's like, okay, son of a Titan or son of a god.
Yeah.
His dad makes his fucking people give them like all of their cherished stuff.
Yeah.
A nice sword, a nice shield, a nice helmet. And then he's a sleep creep because he's watching Andromeda in her fucking sleep.
Yeah.
So he's a sleep creep. And then he goes and watches what happens with Calibos the second time her soul like walks to him. So he cheated on the riddle. He saw the card.
Yeah.
So he cheated on the riddle because he's like, the ring of Calibos, 2 pearls it's like attached to a ring. Stop sounding fucking cool.
You cheated.
You saw the answer. So so he cheated on that. And then, like, he was just given everything. It's like, it reminded me of, like, one of those kids who doesn't really deserve anything.
He at least kidnapped Pegasus. Like, him and his friend kind of, like, he snuck up on Pegasus. But again, I guess he did it with the invisibility helmet his daddy gave him.
Yeah, I mean, he still kind of cheated on that.
Yeah.
So
goes up, like, ropes Pegasus and kind of like, hey, you're my poor fucking horse now. And then, like, flies him around for a little bit. And then Pegasus fucks off for a bit in the movie. I'm like, it'd be really handy to have a Pegasus right now.
yeah, and then
At least, like, so it seemed like I kept going back to, like, we played tabletop RPGs. It'd be like, you start at level 1, except he's a god, so maybe he's, like, level 5 or something.
oh, he's templated, definitely.
And it's like, here's your helmet, here's your sword, here's your shield, have fun. But then, like, he's in a fight with Calibos. Oh, your helmet's fucking gone. Like, I didn't even... why the fuck did I give you a helmet of invisibility? It's in the swamp. Can I look for it? No, it's lost. Forget about it, dude. That helmet's fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that swamp is, like, super fucking deep. You'll never be able to find the helmet again. I was literally standing ankle deep in that water a second ago. You're telling me that the helmet is lost.
It fell off the back of my head, right?
Yeah.
So it should be right there? It's fucking lost.
Okay, well, while it was like only a half a foot where you were standing, where it fell off the back of your head, like that part is like 80 feet deep.
It's sunk into the fucking swamp.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's like it fell in the water and you see an alligator go.
Like you see, like the tentacle of the Kraken, like reach up and it's like,
No, stop with that shit.
But yeah,
Invisibility at level 5, that's fucking broken.
Yeah, but it's like his dad gives him all the items, and he uses them.
And he tends to use them. I guess the helmet he uses the most.
Yeah, he likes walking around invisible.
The rest he uses like maybe I guess he uses the sword for a while, but eventually they all go away. Like the Medusa's blood melts his shield, and he leaves the sword in Calibos.
Yes.
So he ends up losing all of them, but he still wins fight with them.
Yeah.
It makes me more think of like when we played Cypher System, and you'd get like the Cypher, and you'd be like, oh, here, the helmet is a Cypher, and once you've used it, well, it's depowered. It's gone now. You use the sword for a miracle, now it's depowered. That one's gone. You use the sword, and it's like, oh, it got stuck in a guy and snapped. It's not a sword anymore.
Yeah, but it was like, even then, like, knowing that they were like one-use items, we'd get something cool and be like, yep, holding on to that forever.
Hold on to that forever.
So it's like, you don't get to use it, but you're holding on to it for a fucking rainy day, so it's like...
Just use it.
Yeah, just use the fucking thing.
Right.
But I honestly did not like that system. I don't like I don't like the idea of everything being throwaway.
Yeah,
you're like playing D&D where it's like you get a +1 sword and you get this fucking helmet.
That's where we're used to D&D where items are part of your power system, and in Cypher they're not.
Yeah, and that's weird because it's like, okay, I have a jetpack and I have a fucking glove that sprays poison darts. That's dope. Okay, well, you've used them and they've gone away. What do I get now? And now you have a fucking boxing glove and a fucking box, and I don't know.
Turn the crack of the boxing glove comes out and
Yeah,
punches dude.
yeah, but then it's over after one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the dude is given everything. I get it. His storyline is semi tragic. That his mom,
Yeah.
his mom gets raped by Zeus.
Yeah.
And then the husband comes into the room to see Zeus being like, she was sweet.
Well, that was the remake.
Well, okay,
Yeah, but like,
but it's still the same storyline.
it's still same similar-ish, where the father or the dad like learns that like, oh fuck, that's not my kid, that's Zeus's kid, so I'm gonna put you in this fucking coffin and throw you in the ocean.
Which was even still kind of like Zeus was like, okay, well, this dude's denouncing me and he's the leader of this town, but because of this one guy denouncing me, I'm gonna kill everybody in the fucking city.
Oh yeah, gods were fucking dicks in that.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Still, that's so ridiculous to me.
I think that's why I like. So we've talked a little bit about like the original one and how they're both kind of sixes to me. I think the new one ends up inching out the old one a little bit more. Because there's scenes and stuff in it, and one of the things I like about the newer one is the gods aren't quite as fucking dickish. They're still dicks, but a lot of the dickish stuff happens from like Hades kind of like seizing the opportunity, and then it's just Zeus kind of like turning his back, rather than him directly being like, "Fuck Argos, blow the fuck up, release the Kraken, yeah, fuck them, fuck Argos, kill everybody."
Well, I think that's the problem I had. No, you're right. Like the biggest problem I had with old school Zeus is it was just like, you give him a helmet and a sword, items to befit a son of Zeus, and then it's like, I just fucking lost the helmet, and now the sword's melted. Send him your owl. This owl's been with me forever. It would please me. And like the actor, he even does like, send him your owl. It would please me. And then he's like walking around like,
I'm Zeus.
Yeah,
I'm Zeus.
Like that whole way he delivered that line. I was like, the way was it Aphrodite? Was it, or who was it that? Or was it Artemis?
Oh, I think it was Artemis with the owl.
So yeah, and she was like, "Never,
Yeah.
you'll never have my owl."
So she goes to Hephaestus and gets a boobo made.
Yeah, and then like even then, Zeus, he's doing his maneuvers, and then he finds out that like his other gods have been doing maneuvers behind his back too. So instead of him being like, "I'm gonna fuck you over," he's gonna be like, "Okay, let's just see how this plays out."
Yeah, that's release the Kraken.
Yeah, and so yeah, like okay, you're doing things behind my back, even though I'm Big Daddy fucking swinging dick God. Yeah, let's just see how this plays out. Now I'm going to do this, and then you're going to do some other shit behind me. If I was Zeus and I was like, send him your owl, and I'd be like, what's that mechanical piece of shit? No, ain't no son of mine going around with like some kind of Tinkerton toy shit.
To be fair, the other gods were also kind of dicks. Because when Perseus and Andromeda are getting married, and she's like, look at my daughter, like beauty better than Thea herself, and the statue's head rolls off. And it's kind of like, fuck you, bitches! I'm sending Kraken.
Yeah.
No one prettier than me.
McGarnagle's like, man, fuck you. In my church?
Yeah,
in my church, you're saying that she's more beautiful than me? Man, fuck that.
Which I like when the mom's kind of marrying him and saying that. You could see like the two like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Stop it.
Shut the fuck up.
Stop it.
The god's not going to punish you.
Yeah, we know how fucking fickle these gods are. Please stop.
That's back in the day where like your parent could say like, my kid is smarter than like he's a better maker than Hephaestus. For Hephaestus to go up and I'm gonna fuck your kid up. It's like, no, fuck the mom. The mom said it. Leave the kid alone. It's like, the mom said it. Leave the kid alone.
Yeah, but like the thing also, so you're probably gonna notice a weird jump cut in there. It's because the camera shut off, but we're gonna try and keep going with the flow. But yeah, it's like the gods are like constantly listening to every fucking body.
Everything. Yeah.
Like everything you say, they're paying attention, which is weird because like when you watch these Greek mythos movies, it's like the gods aren't really doing anything for anybody. They're just kind of like listening to you're like, thank Hephaestus, this thing worked. And Hephaestus is like, yeah, that's nice.
I don't know if these movies show the gods do like one nice thing for the people.
Oh, I mean, we saw him do plenty of things for
Perseus, yeah.
Yeah, but like...
For like their own kin, but like for the people?
Well, it's like, I imagine they have their churches and everything where they give worship and everything like that. I mean, you have to do something to keep your people loving you.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have the, is it Hera, who's the goddess of like beauty and like fertility and stuff like that?
I think Aphrodite is.
I don't know, but like whatever your thing is, like Hephaestus would be the person who like makes stuff. So I imagine people who worship Hephaestus are like really good at like building things.
Yeah.
So like you give him praise and he keeps your hands fucking like agile and smooth. You have Dionysus who like, you know, he's like the guy who likes to party.
Yeah,
and
wine and parties.
yeah, so it's like as long as you're giving it up to fucking Dionysus, you're throwing fucking ragers. So then that's what makes your people love you. As far as Zeus is concerned, I think he's just based off of like fear me because I'm in fucking control.
Yeah, it's kind of like I made you revel in me because I gave you life.
Yeah, like what I mean, what is Zeus's bit other than the fact that I'm like the god of gods?
Enlightening.
Yeah, like yeah, worship me and I'll fucking strike you with lightning. I don't know. Like, it's almost like fear is almost kind of his thing too. You have to fear him because he's in control of the other gods that you may or may not worship. I don't know. Like that's never really made sense to me. But because he's the OG, it's like you have to give it up to him. So, I mean, do you worship two people? Like, do you worship Poseidon because you're a sailor, but you also worship Zeus because, like, you know...
He makes the rain, maybe?
Yeah.
Brings the thunder? I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, I mean, he's just a cock.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's all the gods are.
Yeah, but like...
And that's more shown in the original than the remake, I think. And the remake definitely played down what all the gods were doing and made it mostly about Zeus and Hades. Because I'd seen some of the cut content, and they were going to do more with some of the other gods.
In the remake?
In the remake. They were going to have, like, I think it was Ares or something like that, show up and, like, give Perseus, like, hey, where are you going? It's expensive. Here, take this coin. Rather than it be Zeus. So it's not Zeus doing everything for him, but they kind of, like, change shit around. And they kind of
Interesting.
gave the gods less to do. Which I don't know if is better or not. Because it's... You kind of have all those gods around looking shiny and divine, and they're just kind of like... here's my one sentence. I'll stand in the background for the rest of this movie.
Yeah. So I think we've said plenty about the original. Let's talk about the remake a little bit.
Yeah.
So I really liked this movie.
I do like this movie.
But I'll be honest with you, Amber and I, we went and saw this one in the theater.
I think I went with you.
Yeah. Amber fell asleep because she thought the movie was boring.
Yeah.
I remember walking out of the movie being like,
It was whatever.
hey, it's okay, I guess. But like, I didn't give a shit about it one way or the other. When I watched it originally, I'm not sure. I might have fallen asleep in it too. I'm not sure.
Well, it was back when 3D movies were a thing. And they were showing off special effects, definitely. But they were also trying to show off the 3D. And I think you still can kind of feel it when, like, why the fuck is this a shot? Where you've got, like, the person in the front and the tentacle, like, coming at or whatever. You're like,
Right.
they're trying to show off how cool the 3D is.
And that's when 3D wasn't like from the screen out to you. That was like when the 3D was like from the screen in. And they were trying to show depth instead of like it like getting up in your face.
Yeah.
But I remember like originally when I watched this movie, I was like, it's okay.
It's fine.
Like rewatching it the other day, it's a really good flick.
There's a lot of stuff in this one I like. Like something I like in the new one versus the old one is that they build out his squad a bit more. Like in the original one, you had like his captain guy that was kind of like from Andromeda, but in like I guess this actor guy, but like that guy didn't really go with him all the way.
Yeah, he was just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, so for the most part, it was Perseus and Perseus's toys doing all the cool shit. Whereas in this one, he's like, fuck gods. Gods killed my parents. I'm a man.
Yeah. And I'm going to do this as a man.
I'm going to do this as a man. And then he's got like Mads Mikkelsen, Liam Cunningworth, Nicholas Hoult was one of the people.
Yeah, so let's go through it real quick.
Yeah.
So you had Sam Worthington as Perseus.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's
as
as Zeus. You had, it says Ralph.
Is it Rafe?
He says it's Rafe.
Maybe it could be Rafe. I've only ever seen it written. But whenever I heard you say it, it sounded like Ray. I'm like, is it Rafe? I thought it was Ralph.
I think it's Rafe.
Rafe.
So Rafe Fiennes as Hades, who you'll also know as probably Voldemort.
Yeah.
Jason Fleming. Jason Fleming. Let's say Fleming as Calibos. You had Gemma Arterton as Io.
I do like her. I've seen her in like 2 things, I think, and she was dope.
You had Mads Mikkelsen as Draco.
Yeah.
Draco. Let's see. I know Luke Evans. He was Apollo.
Okay, I think he was the one that was going to give Perseus the coin, but they gave that to Zeus instead.
So was he cut out?
Not cut out. He's there. He's just, and I think he has like a line instead of having several lines, now he's got like the one line.
Got it. like you said, Liam Cunningham
Who was it?
as Solon,
Uh,
Solon,
Solemn,
Solon.
and he was in Dog Soldiers, a movie that we've reviewed.
Yes, it's Liam Cunningham. So he's also Davos in Game of Thrones. That's where I originally knew him from. And then like I'd go back and watch old stuff, and I'm like, that's fucking Davos.
Yeah, well, I'm putting it back to our old content because if you really want to see Ray Fiennes, you can go watch our Strange Danes video.
Yeah. You had Nicholas Hoult as Isobius.
I don't even know if they said his name in it, but he's the one that Perseus saved from the Stygian hags.
Yes.
And at that point in time, I think we were like, that guy looks fucking familiar. Was he something? I'm like, I'll look him up real quick.
So he is. What you would probably know him from
Beast.
was, yeah, he's Beast from the X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, X-Men First Class.
Yeah. Okay. See, I thought that when I originally saw him,
I thought he was someone else.
yeah, Days of Future Past and stuff like that. I thought he was someone else when I originally saw him. I thought he was the dude who played fucking Francis in
that's who it was.
in Deadpool.
Yeah.
But that's not who that is.
No.
So, anyways.
Yeah, but he looked familiar, and you're like, is that Francis guy? I'm like, let me check real quick, and I saw the name Nicholas Hoult. I'm like, that's because it's Nicholas Hoult. That's why he looks so fucking familiar.
Yeah. So let's give
Francis a real name.
yeah, let's give Francis a real name here.
He should hopefully be like third build. No, why he's not.
So Ajax was Ed Skirrin. Ed Screen.
He definitely did need our shout out.
Yeah, no. Well, that guy's been like in a good bit of stuff. So he was in Battle Angel Alita stuff.
That's right. He was guy with the mohawk.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, there was like this movie was beautiful,
This movie's really it still looks pretty fucking dope.
and this movie got trashed.
Yeah.
Like,
It is a visual spectacle, and I mean, some of the parts are kind of like the scorpion fight goes on for a bit too long.
yeah,
The Stygian witches look over designed versus the ones like in the original ones where just old ladies with like that are just don't have eyes.
Right.
You've got like these weird sort of not what's his the guy that did Hellboy. Guillermo del Toro. Del Toro. You said they've definitely got a Del Toro sort of look to them, being like over designed, kind of like creepy things rather than just like old ladies.
right. And
But at least they have an eye rather than like a
An
crystal
orb.
sphere orb. I like the fact. I like that it's this weird looking fucking eye, and they're like, man, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So, I think I like the originals witches a bit more than the other ones, but I like that they all interact with them a bit more rather than Perseus being like, I got your fucking eye, motherfucker.
Yeah, but like, how much of a dick move was that in the original movie too? Where it was
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to ask you a question. They're like, come a little closer. And it's like, I could beat up some old ladies. Mm-hmm. You know, I could beat. Y'all aren't gonna put me in a pot. Like,
Yeah.
but instead he's like, got your eye, bitch. Give me the information I need. I'll give you back what's yours
Yes.
if you tell me the information I need. And then when she gets the information, he's like, catch.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
And in this one, she's like, well, we'll tell you the information, but we got to sacrifice this boy. It's like, fucking no. If you do that, I'll get rid of your eye.
Yeah.
So he's more protective rather than
Yeah, he's more of a hero.
yeah.
In this one.
Yeah. I guess the only thing with the Stygian witch is like they're like, Perseus, you're gonna die. Like that never fucking comes up again.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if it happens in Wrath of the Titans, but and I've never seen Wrath of the Titans, so you know, there's fuel for you if it's a movie that you're really over the moon about.
I don't think we're gonna review that one. That one's like a 5 or 6 to me.
Yeah.
It's not as good, but it's still all right.
Okay.
There's still some neat shit in it. Like in the beginning, he fights a chimera, and that's kind of fucking cool. It's got Kronos just like flinging lava at people. That's pretty dope.
That sounds cool. Yeah, this movie
it's okay.
This movie got trashed.
Yeah.
So it's a 5.8 on IMDb, and I remembered seeing in Rotten Tomatoes like people fucking hated this movie.
Which I don't think it's that bad. It's a visual like, ooh, look how fucking pretty this movie is.
Yeah,
Which might not be. It's a spectacle, which I think kind of like was Avatar. And people loved Avatar, but there's not much substance to Avatar. It's just like a visual spectacle.
So yeah, so I believe this also happened. So this is back in 2010 when this movie came out, and I think that this when people were like leaning more in the camp of, well, what about like visual effects? Why don't people do like visual effects and things? Why is everything CG? So it's like I think it was like hip to hate on CG at this point. But like, why? did you hate the CG in this movie? It looks
pretty cool.
really good. Like, and the reason I wanted to talk about like the models of like everyone on the planet. Like there are miniature models of everyone who is alive on the planet, and then like the gods can crush it and take you out, or basically when you just die, the fucking the statues crumble. When the Kraken shows up at the end of the movie and like does that tentacle fucking slap and like kills that thing, it's like watching the camera from down looking up into the hall
and just seeing
and like watching all the statues fall off, and then they just like turn to fucking stardust as they're coming down.
It's beautiful.
It was fucking gorgeous. Like that part was so good, and I rewound that part like 2 times.
It looks really cool.
It really did. I
think like when you look at the original, the gods are just like in togas and kind of like in a vaguely like you can see some of the columns and stuff like that, and the little fog in the distance, and like, yeah, nice up here. But when you go to the new one, they're all wearing like fucking glistening armor. Their kind of seats are around like the world, down below, and
it was like a flat map of the world, and like there's cloud cover, and you could see all the landmasses, and they're just like walking across the map, like doo doo doo.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, it's just a map of the world, but it's like an animated map of the world. Kind of like if there was like a hologram back in the day or whatever.
Right.
Where it's like it looks fucking dope.
It did, and that's, I think that's the other thing that I really liked about the movie is like all the CG looked great. Like Medusa, compared to how she looked in the original, she looked fucking great.
That Medusa scene is so fucking cool.
Yeah, like the detail, like whenever she like basically, so in the old movie she would just go, and her eyes would turn green, and you would turn into stone. In the new movie, she would like do this like almost like a scream at you.
Yeah, her face would kind of go hideous, and then you'd get like hit with a flash, and like as you're like leaning back and turning to stone, you get like locked into it.
Yeah, and then you watch basically as your flesh turns to fucking, like, it looked good, and she had like that viper kind of look to her as she was like screaming in your face,
and she had like the cool like stinger tail or whatever.
Yeah, and she was gorgeous, like, because that was the one thing, she was like unequaled beauty that Poseidon basically, and then she got cursed and got turned into this hideous thing, but you could obviously tell she was a very, very pretty person when she was who she was, and then
now she's snake body, snake hair, turn you to stone, and
so this movie got a 40% with the audiences and a 27% with the critics. They got it wrong.
Yeah, this is a visual spectacle. A lot of the stuff I'm going to like about the movie is, I guess, that they give characterization to some more people. I like that Perseus wants to do this as a man rather than a god, but I mean, at the same time, like, your friends are dying, take out your fucking god sword.
And see, that was the best part. Like when the sword, and he's like, another gift. When Mad Mikkelsen's like, it's a gift from the gods, and he's like, I don't want to do it. I want to do this as a man. And like people are dropping, and then finally Mad's like, push the sword onto him. And he's like, use it. And he's like, I don't want to. I want to do this as a man. And he's like, then we'll keep dying. Like basically pointing out these we cannot do what you can do. You have serious plot and daddy armor.
Yeah,
we don't. So you need to start wielding this to keep some of your fucking people alive.
Yeah, I mean, even like at the end where he's like, before they go into Medusa's lair, and he's like, I've only known one great man in my life, and that was my father. It's like, now I know four more, and whatever the hell you are.
Yeah, whatever the fuck you are, and the thing's like fucking weird Groot, Wizard Groot.
Yeah, I mean, he's a weird addition.
But I mean, he was
neat.
Cool.
He looks neat.
Yeah, he was cool. But like, little things like when they go to the river Styx and they get the ferryman to come across, the fact that the boat was being drugged by souls from the river,
and it was like an upturned boat. Again, it's another thing. I think it's neat, but it's over designed. So I think the fact that like when in the old one it's just like a little reaper guy in like a cloak, and he's like, hey, let's fucking get at the boat. I'm like the river Styx. It doesn't look like fucking. It looked like they went outside to the creek. It's like this is gonna be the river Styx. I'm gonna blow this little horn, and then he comes up and saying, oh, okay, cool. Here's your money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, simplicity's cool, but then you have simplicity versus like over designed, and it's kind of.
But like even the over design was like really neat.
It is neat.
Like but I mean, somebody literally was like, we're gonna pump this much money into it. We want everything that you see in this movie to be like stunning.
Yeah.
And like,
and it's neat. I think it's a guilty pleasure. Is probably where I would put it. Where like the fact that like you've got the boat's pulled by the souls. You've got like the little death guy up there. Like he's practical.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like I guess a little weird, little wired thing that kind of moves kind of awkwardly. And you're like, okay, right. It looks cool. I don't know. It's neat, but over designed. It's kind of like I love it and hate it.
Well, I liked how the ferryman in the new version was like almost like he was twisted at the bottom and attached to the boat itself.
Yeah.
Like I thought that looked cool. I liked how when he went into the when Perseus went to the bottom of the boat with Io, so she could like show him how to fight the Medusa. Like I still liked that Perseus. He just kind of figured it out as he went along with the old one, because he seemed like he was like long shot. He's just super fucking lucky in a lot of the situations. He got some advice here and there from people.
I guess like, so one of the differences between the old one is like, he's like, hey everyone, look at the inside of your shield, because the reflection from the inside of your shield can't hurt you.
Right.
And then they went in and fought Medusa with that information. Whereas in like this one, he learned it in the fight, which I think is more interesting. When like the person picks up the information, like they find out the weakness during the fight, rather than learning it ahead of time. Like, we're going to fight Medusa, everyone. Look at the inside of your shield. And
right.
Everyone goes in knowing the information, versus like he falls, he sees the shield right there, he can see her, and now he's like, well, now I can see her and I know to swing.
Right, but like in the original, I think he came out of that fight with like one or two dudes. I think a couple of people survived.
I think they all died in that one.
Did they? Well, they
because he caught in Pegasus, and he did have a couple, because he went with the head that crossed the river Styx again. Calibos came out and stabbed Medusa's head, and that's when the scorpions attacked.
And then him and his dudes had to fight it back.
Then they killed the rest of the scorpions.
In the new one, everyone fucking dies.
Everyone,
but it's because they didn't have the information going in. Yeah. So it's like he figured it out. He killed Medusa, and then he goes out, and I was like, "Good job!" And then Calibos be like,
fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, and then you get the Calibos fight. So
which was good and satisfying. I like that. Like, and the other one, he just kind of like the original. He just kind of like kills Calibos, like, whatever. Like, that guy was fucking with him the entire time. He beat him earlier, but then he decided to let him live. So by letting him live, Calibos continued to fuck with him. At least in the new one, like he cut off the hand earlier. One of his friends cut off the hand earlier, but all the scorpions meant that Calibos got away. This time he finally got the killing blow on Calibos with the gift, the sword that he got from his dad. And like right as he's killing Calibos is like, don't turn into one of them.
Yeah, don't become one of them. Don't become them.
Yeah.
But like what I really liked about,
to feel bad for him.
What I liked about that is he was deformed, and then as he basically killed him, you saw the curse like shrinking away as he was dying.
Yeah.
Like I thought that looked great.
It was cool.
Watching his skin knit back together. But like when he was fighting with Io underneath the boat, I loved that you saw all the coins, like that people have paid. Like it was small details like that really made me love this movie again, because it was just, you saw coins from like everywhere. It was like there was all kind of different coins down there. So there's been many people who have apparently paid to cross the fucking river Styx.
Well, you have to get to the afterlife. That's why they put the 2 coins on your
eyes.
On your eyes, so you have passage to pay the ferryman to go to Hades.
But I liked how like there was no one dead when they approached the river, and Homeboy like skipped the 1 coin across the road, just to be like,
Gotta pay the toll.
Yeah, the ferryman's just like, what we got going on over here? So
wasn't expecting nobody.
Yeah,
so I kind of liked the horn bit, but I also did like the skipping the coin bit. That's why I like both these movies are like 6s to me. But I think I like the new one a little bit more. So I think the new one inspires me a bit more than the old one did.
Well, everything in the new movie looked a lot better. Like the Kraken looked awesome.
Yeah. Again, not a Kraken, but he still looks cool.
Yeah,
he's at least more Kraken than the last Kraken because he's got tentacles. He's just also got crab limbs and a big bitey face.
Yeah. Well, he reminds me. He had like a Rancor face.
Yeah,
a little bit,
kind of like that little maw.
Yeah, like he reminds me of some other beast. Like whenever I saw him originally, I was kind of like, I've seen this monster before. But I think it might have been in oh my god, have you seen Treat Williams movie?
Probably not. I think I've only seen one Treat Williams movie.
Which one was that?
It was one that you showed me. I guess it wasn't a boat. But which one was it?
So I'm gonna look that up as we're talking about it, because like I don't think you've seen this movie, or maybe that's the one
that might have been the one that you showed me.
Which is unfortunate because I would have had a field day talking about this on camera with you. But because Treat Williams, he's a treat.
Yeah.
Deep Rising.
I think that's the one we watched.
So I think the monster at the end of Clash of the Titans reminded me of the creature in Deep Rising.
I mean, when we're comparing like designs for old Kraken, which I guess is classic to new Kraken, because the old Kraken is kind of silly looking. He's just like a little fish guy with 4 arms.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's like, "Arr."
Yeah, right. Well, he had like a monkey face.
Yeah. He had the creature from the Deep Lagoon face, where he's got like the little gill cheeks. It's kind of like, okay, he's kind of silly looking. Whereas the new one is again over designed, but kind of dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the scope of like, so in the old one, it's like he kind of came up. You'd see some tiny people in the foreground, then
Yeah,
he'd like
you
move.
get the sense that he's big,
Yeah.
but not like fucking gigantic.
Yeah, but like in this one, it had like the Cloverfield sounds, like where the people are like looking up at it and like the foot stepping over, and you get like this sound, like this gigantic fucking thing is like walking around you. The acting in the movie, like the zealot who wanted to like sacrifice Andromeda, I thought he did great.
Yeah, and they did more because in the original it's just kind of like they once Andromeda goes back, they just kind of cut away from that, and then they kind of like, okay, time to sacrifice Andromeda. And she's like, all right.
And she just nobly walks into it. Like, people are getting hurt. But in this one, she's just like, this needs to stop. And when they basically, January 6th, her fucking castle, she's just kind of like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, well, I think she always wanted to go, but her dad was like, no, fuck that, we're not going.
Yeah.
Because in the cutscenes, the mom dies of old age.
I gotta watch these cutscenes.
That's on the DVD.
Okay.
And also, one of the guys, like in the original thing, is kind of like, we should give Andromeda up, and he has one line. In the cutscene, he's the one that kind of like goes in and snags and like, Andromeda, we got to get the fuck out of here, and he leads him straight to the raiding party and be like, here she fucking is.
Right.
And that's why you don't see the handmaid again, because the handmaid's fuck you, buddy, and goes and stabs him, and then she gets stabbed too, so they both die.
Okay. Yeah,
and I think it's things like that would have fleshed out some of the other bits, would have made it better. And I think they probably could have kept that, because that movie's not that long.
No, so it came in right at, I think about
right
at about 2 hours.
I think it's less.
You think it's less?
I know it's definitely not as long as the original Clash of the Titans.
So Clash of the Titans 2010 was an hour and 46 minutes.
And this one, and Clash of the Titans 81 is an hour and 58 minutes.
Oh wow, the original was longer? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
They could have added back in those few things. Maybe have gotten it to closer to 2 hours, and then probably... So I think you could have put some of the god scenes back in there, and it would have been better to kind of fill out the gods a little bit. Because really, it's Hades versus Zeus.
Yeah.
The old one at least had some of the other gods interacting a bit.
And Ralph Fiennes was so good.
He was really good.
As Hades. Like, my favorite scene in that was when he showed up the first time is like the spinning orb that was like sucking people in. And like everyone's like kind of trying to like not get sucked in. And then he stops spinning and he looks, and Perseus stand there and he goes, interesting.
And then spits all the weapons out of.
Yeah. Like I thought how he was like kind of a little surprised at like seeing him there.
I hit your fucking boat.
Yeah. He's just like interesting. Like he just kind of stares at him the first time. Like okay, well that wasn't expected.
But I also like the way he's kind of playing Hades is kind of like raspy and like feeble, and then as the Kraken's destroying more people and more people are afraid of the Kraken and he's getting power, it's like, oh, fucking fine, brother.
Yeah. You feeling better about yourself? Yeah. No. Okay.
And I can feed off their fear. You need their love.
Yeah. The people who love you are dying, so you're getting a little less powerful. But like I did like that. I liked that storyline better. Mm-hmm. Like I thought that just played better than. I just feel like being a dick, and I just want to help my son just because he's a sleep creep who.
Yeah, I think the original's got a lot of really cool scenes, and some of it plays out a little bit better. But the new one, I think, is
a better story.
There are boring bits to it.
Yeah,
I think that the Scorpion fight goes on a bit too long, but like the Calibos fight before that, it's pretty fucking dope. Where like the dude, he's fighting Calibos, and then I think it's Liam Cunningham runs up and like gives him the old double kick, and he's just like, and just like tanks it, and he drops to the ground. Like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but like, had I seen like someone drop kick a dude, and he's just like, brah, I'd just like, all right, retreat, back up, back the fuck up. I mean, that's just me. Yeah. But yeah, the new version I thought was just like watching it again. I was literally sitting there like dumbfounded the entire time. Like, why didn't I like this movie originally? Like, I try to figure out. And it makes me wonder how many other movies I haven't liked in the past that like
that would be good.
That actually are probably better than I gave them credit for. I don't know. I'd like to think that I call them as I see them, but then like I go back and watch movies like this, and I'm just like, man, this movie is fucking beautiful. Mm-hmm. But maybe I couldn't appreciate it because we watched it in 3D.
Yeah, and I think this movie being in 3D is a bit of a disservice, because I think you could cut down on some of the spectacle a little bit, and maybe make some of the spectacle scenes a little bit shorter in both movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need all of that time of the Kraken crawling out of the fucking water in the original. You don't need all that time of the Kraken smashing shit. In the new one, do you need to see the guys on the Scorpion again being like, hey, you did it.
We're still helping.
You did it, Perseus. We're alive. Remember us? Maybe you don't.
Well, I mean, it was kind of funny seeing them because, like the fucking demons flying around with like the head.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I mean,
but
I do like that, like when he's flying through and like one of the little demon guys gets wrapped up and
in the banners,
falls to the ground in the banners, and then like the citizens run up and start like fucking whacking it, and it's like super fucking quick. But I'm like, that's good. That's kind of dope.
He cuts his fucking head off on the way by, but they still go out and like whack it with poles, and it's like, good job, people. You fucking,
Well, they're at least not fucking like, oh god.
Yeah, they're not scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are, but
yeah, but they're doing their part.
it's fight or flight, and they're going for the fight bit. Yeah,
but like I think one of the parts that really made me laugh is the first time they're going through like the armory and everything like that, and like Perseus pulls out Bubo from the original movie. He's like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah. And the guy was like, "I guess it's junk or whatever."
Just leave it.
Yeah, and then he just throws it back in the chest.
Like, well, how much are we taking? Take everything. It's like, we're taking this too. It's like, leave it.
Yeah, like I liked that nod back to the original movie. I thought that was good.
This movie did not need a Bubo.
I disagree.
Well, I think this movie's playing serious, whereas the original is playing whimsy for children. Like the original, it's PG, but I mean that's before PG-13.
Yeah,
it's a kids movie. This one I think is more of an action teen movie. It probably wants to get the teens money, because that would have been 3D movies, and 3D movies more expensive than regular movies. You're probably not going to get the family.
Regular movie would be like $8, and the 3D movie would be like 13.
Yeah. You're probably not getting the entire family. You're probably not getting like, get your kids to the G movie, which I think makes for a bit more fun.
Right.
So, I mean, also nowadays, I mean, in Clash of the Titans, you can cut off Weird Medusa's head and have it bleed green and melt shit. And in this one, it's probably a bit more extreme for kids, and she looks a lot more human, and she cuts off her head, and her body's still going like, wait, what the fuck? And like slips into
like
lava.
A snake. Yeah, you cut off snake's head, and the body's still like writhing around. But like, my favorite thing in the world is small detail. Mm-hmm. If you have enough care to put the little small details in there to make the scene play better. Mm-hmm. So when he like jumps around, he like cuts off her fucking head. Mm-hmm. Like you see when he slices her, you see like the hair that was below the neckline. You see those little snakes go and fall to the ground, and then her head falls to the ground. That looked so good. That looks so good because she has that shocked look on her face for a second.
Like, I finally got.
Yeah, but like she has that shocked look on her face. But like the fact that hair was below that area of the neckline, and you see those snakes fall off, and then her head falls off, and then like the body actually hits the head too, which changes as it's rolling. The body like bumps the head, which like pushes it up into the camera. So she's like got that shocked look on her face. And then he's like sitting there like, and the body's behind him like.
Well, she also had like this cool glove partial, I think for like Boeing, but they made them like stylish,
right?
On her fingers.
Yeah, they look like metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, then like their tail slips off, and then like when the bulk of her body falls off, she like just falls the fuck off.
She's still trying to like claw, and it all goes with her.
Yeah.
And I like small details with her too. When she was like chasing someone, she took a shot and missed, and she's like, "Brr."
Yeah, and it's not only that, but it's like they made her more menacing.
Yeah,
like because she still had the rattle, but it had like the barb at the end of it. And when the two dudes are like they're scared as shit, and the one goes like, "Don't stare in the eyes," and then the rattle, you see it come up between them, and it's like, and then it like comes down, and then one dude turns around like, "The fuck was that?"
It's like, keep your eyes down.
Yeah, and as soon as he does that, he turns back around, and she's like, "Hey, what's up, motherfucker?" Yeah, like that's the way she was like also walking around underneath the platforms and everything, like she was clawing onto things and like crawling around, like that all looked great.
That's my favorite scene in this movie.
Of course
it's as you know, at least.
Yes.
Medusa is my favorite like mythological figure.
I know.
And this movie doing Medusa better than the other movie is also what helps the new one win out.
I figured
this Medusa is so fucking cool.
She was dope. Like she was very aware of what was going on. It was her lair.
Yeah, I like that. They go in with 5 fucking people. She kills 4 of those motherfuckers.
Yeah. But like that's the one thing I didn't like about it was the way Mads kind of gave up. He was like, "Let them know what happened here," and it's like you could still fight.
Well, I think it's the get her attention, and have her focused on him,
so he could hide,
so that Perseus could get her from behind.
Well, he didn't get her from behind at that point. Like,
well, I think he was fighting her in the front or something, and like Mads came up behind her, like kind of cut the pillar off with his knives and like speared her
spider tail. Yeah, and then like stood there and was just like, "Let him know what happened here." And then I think, so I don't know. I liked Mads Mikkelsen. I kind of wanted his character to like move through to the next movie.
Yeah.
But because I thought he was great.
He was cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's if you've watched the movie originally and you're just kind of like, meh, like, give it another look.
I think they're both pretty good. They both are spectacles showing off what their special effects of their time could do. For the old ones, they're showing off what stop motion was capable of, and I mean nowadays it's kind of janky, but it's still kind of cool to see. Imagine like someone sitting there with like meticulously moving all those little bits and all the time and effort and all that little model making and shit.
How many hours went into that? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like, not only that, you talked about how the CG of the time, like, I still think it holds up.
It still looks so fucking good.
Yeah, it still holds up. I
mean, some better than others, but it definitely.
Yeah,
and they do use practical in there as well, which I think helps sell some of it, because I think a lot of the boat, like when they're actually on the boat with like the little with the little guardian Charon,
right.
I think he was practical, so because he looked. I think like the little guy pinned up there, which is why he wasn't moving a whole lot. Like they moved his head, because I think he was like a practical little thing that like his arms moved a little bit.
Right.
I think probably in the wide shot, he was CG, because that's when they had it driven by the souls or whatever. But I think during the actual, like, when they're on the boat looking around, Charon's up there, just kind of like.
I still think it holds up. Like, it was
it's still good.
Like, honestly, I think that was the biggest thing that surprised me. Yeah. It's like, going into this, I was automatically like, okay, I'm going to like the Harry Hamlin version better. And then, like, and I don't know if I said this in the beginning. I think I did. But it's like, when I watched this as a kid, it was just a dude going around doing some shit. And, like, I got it that he was trying to, like, save the princess. But, like, I didn't realize that the quest was going from A to point B to C to D. It was like, I thought it was just neat shit that was happening along the way. But it's all a very it's a cohesive storyline.
Which I wonder if that's kind of like what they were going for too, because I imagine those stories back in the day are probably like little vignettes of like here's a story, or here's an adventure that Perseus went on, here's an adventure that Perseus went on. But then you take them all and kind of stick them together, throw in your own little things, because I don't think Theta was in the original ones. Like Medusa's at a different point, and Pegasus is at a different point, and all that kind of shit. Calibos was made up for the movie. So you've got all these little different bits, and you just kind of like make a story out of it. Take all these old vignettes and make it something.
I like how Calibos looked like the devil.
Yeah.
Like when he was sitting back on his throne, he kind of had his head back like that, and like the scowl lines in his face and everything. He looked like the devil.
Yeah.
And I don't know I can't remember who the actor was that played Calibos in the old movies, but like that dude was smooth.
He was. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like he was very. And she was like, "Please take pity on the people, lift your curse." And he's like, "Nah."
No. I got fucked. Fuck these people. I don't think he'd be pissed, because he was a later. No, he was just the. Was he the leader of Argos?
So
he wasn't. It was Perseus' father was the leader of Argos. Perseus' fake father, air quotes. Kraken wiped out that city. This guy was just Theta's son who got fucked over. Okay.
Well, I think in the original, Calibos was the person who denounced Zeus, because he like takes the statue and he starts to crush it, which deforms his body. Yeah. But like he didn't destroy it because it was Maggie Smith's.
But he's not the person. I don't remember. It's because they combined them in the remake. Right. They took Acrisius and made him Calibos, whereas in the original they were two separate people. Right.
Watch the movie.
Watch the It's whatever. These ones they're okay. I do like these movies. Again, I think I like. They're both 6s. Because I both kind of like them. I think Clash of the Titans is a bit more of a guilty pleasure. Because I think I'll watch the new Clash again at some point in time. I might go back and watch Wrath again at some point in time too. It might be a few years down the line. I don't know if I'll go back and watch the old Clash. I might. I might want to revisit it at some point in time and just kind of like compare it to the new one again.
Old Clash is always going to hold a special place in my heart, just because it was one of those movies that I just absolutely adored when I was a kid. But I mean, how could you not like it when you watch it as a kid? It's a dude who's like flying around on a horse, magical helmet, magical sword, magical shield, like taking out fucking monsters and like saving the day.
Yeah. Got his cool owl familiar.
Yeah. But like, there's so much more that I can respect about the remake, because it was like a dude who kind of renounced where he came from and renounced his gifts because he saw how wrathful and petty the gods could be. So he wanted to do it as a man, but he had godly blood within him.
Well, I think I like that about the newer one too. Is he gets found, like his mother dies, and then in the original one he gets raised by his mother, has a fucking fine life, and so he's fine. In the new one he's kind of like found his mother drowned. These new people found him and took him in and raised as fishermen. And then those people die to gods. And now he gets to be like fucking petty and angry at the gods. And I think that plays up a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Than just happy-go-lucky kid who's like, I'm a son of the gods.
Yeah, I'm going to go over here and do this thing. Well, just so happens that the gifts that the gods gave you get you through the situation. Oh, cool. I'm moving to the next thing. Well, here's another gift of the god that gets fucking wasted on you because you needed the help. Like, even at the end of the original Clash of the Titans, it's like, I'm going to fly over here with the horse and I'm going to put it in his face and everything's going to be cool. Oh, I dropped the fucking thing and I got knocked into the ocean. Thank God the mechanical fucking owl pulled the head back to me.
Yeah, he didn't do it himself. Yeah.
Yeah, so like if it wasn't for Bubo, like he would not have succeeded that quest.
And then at the end of the movie, he's like, no, I'm going to marry the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
And Morris, I like in the new one that he's kind of like, I don't know, bitch, I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know you. I'm not a king.
Yeah.
You know, you'll figure it out. You're a very strong woman. You'll be a great queen.
And then he ends up with Io. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah,
like, that's nice.
Yeah, it's
so, no more guy just ending with the woman because he saved her. It's like he ends up with a woman that
he was into.
Yeah, I'm like, that's nice.
It's nice.
That's nice.
So go back and watch these movies.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched them, they're fun.
Yeah, and I would let us know what you think. More so, especially if you've watched them recently, because if you're going back based on memory. I mean, you might be thinking like with kid brain, as it were, which is not a bad thing, but it's just like, do you like the old one better because you liked it better as a kid and you saw it as a kid? Or did you actually watch it as an adult and are you giving it your more, I don't know, critical eye?
I think so. I don't know if I've told this story here before, but it's funny because Joe and I were having a conversation one day and we were talking about something and I was like, oh, that stuff's straight trash. And he's like, well, Transformers are trash. And I was like, shut your fucking mouth. And he was like, why do you like Transformers? I was like, it had a great cartoon. There's cool toys. He goes, is the cartoon as good as you think it was? And I was like, what are you talking about? The cartoon was excellent. He's like, he's like, is your mind's eye telling you that it was cool? Or like, did you actually think it was cool? And I was like, well, I was like 11 when I watched them, so exactly. I thought it was cool. And he's like, you should probably go back and watch them. And I went back and watched like the first 5 episodes, and it's bad. It's like really bad. You could throw some hastily thrown together bullshit like sell toys.
Well, I think it's I mean, you have the toys, and then they're essentially being like, well, here's a new toy we're putting out. Put them in the show, and the show is kind of backdrops, like gives you like stories for you to do as a kid. Because now you've got the play essentially. Here's the stage dropping, and you know what the play is now. Now you can go as a kid and act out the play yourself. Yeah. And kind of like, now I know what Optimus Prime's personality is. You don't have to make up your own personality for him. You know what it is. Yeah. And you know how evil Megatron is, and
what he would do in certain situations. So you make your own thing.
So now you can make up your own stories, and now you're applying those stories that you made up as a kid to the show you're watching, and vice versa, and it's kind of feeding into itself and making both better for you.
Well, it's like I like Transformers because they were basically puzzle boxes. You know, it was a car, and the cars are fucking cool, and then they turn into cool-looking robots who have guns. Yeah. Like that was a no-brainer for me as a kid.
Yeah, so I'm not big into vehicles, which I think is why Transformers never took off for me. But it's like transforming the Transformers. It's fun. It's cool. It's kind of cool to go like, here's a little truck guy, and like you do all this little shit, and like, look at the dude. I'm like, fucking neat.
You know, well, they threw a wide net back in the day because it was like cars that turned into robots that turned into cars, and people are like, cool, and then the other half were like, whatever, and they're like, now the robots turn into gorillas and cheetahs and scorpions, and I think the other half were like,
no, fucking animals.
Because I know they're like, I was talking to somebody the other day about Transformers, and they're like, what's your favorite Transformer? And I was like, well, I mean, Optimus Prime in tracks. And he was like, cool. I liked Optimus Primal. And I was like, the gorilla? And he's like, yeah. I was like, why? And he's like, because that's what I grew up with. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, I felt like one of those neckbeards back in the day when they did Beast Wars, where I was like, truck, not monkey.
Should be truck, not monkey.
Not monkey. But like, and I felt bad for acting like that because you like what you like.
Yeah.
But like, I was talking to my coworker Justin, and he was like, he said the Transformer I had was like the Manta Ray guy, and I was like, Manta Ray, and he's like, yeah, it like turned into a Manta Ray and then a robot, and I off the top of my head did not know what that was. I went and looked it up, but like that spoke to me where it was like, this is what I was into and this is what he was into. It doesn't, you like the same fandom, it doesn't make him any less of a fan. So but anyways, Nick, would you recommend the original and the remake of Clash of the Titan?
I would. At this point, I think I like the newer one better. If we're weighing which one's cooler, is the older cooler or is the newer one cooler? And I think the newer one is just a little bit but we're dealing with decimal points for me, and a lot of it comes down to some of the scenes I really like, and some of the character work I like. I mean, for a while, I think Sam Worthington was going to be like a big star, like after Avatar and stuff like that. And I don't know why he didn't particularly take off, but I like him. He's fucking cool.
I don't know.
He's kind of a bit more like stoic, but I mean, a lot of the old '80s action guys were kind of stoic too.
Well, I mean, he's coming back because
He's coming for Avatar too, right?
Yeah, the new Avatars are about to come out.
Maybe he'll get a chance to take off again. Because I mean, like Chris Pratt came out and like took the fuck off. Hemsworth, I mean, maybe he just needs a Marvel movie, and that will get him like a huge fucking boost. Because I think Sam Worthington was pretty good.
Oh, I see where his career died.
What was he in?
Okay, so Terminator Salvation. People
they did hate that movie.
People fucking hated that movie.
Yeah.
I still have not seen it.
It's all right. I think that'd be like if I off my mind's eye, it probably would be a 5, but I'd have to go back and re-see it.
I think I'd watched about half this movie, but I remember watching the trailer and I was like, I know what's happening.
You're probably right.
And just from the trailer, I think I called what happened.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because I think I know what happens at the end of it. But yeah.
So I mean, I bet if you would have watched, like, have you seen any of the newer the Terminator movies?
Wait a minute, Salvation came out before Avatar. Okay.
Did it?
Yeah. So 2007, he did a movie called Rogue, which I think was a big crocodile movie. And then in 2009 was Terminator Salvation, but also in 2009 was Avatar. So Avatar came out in... Oh, they usually give like a month.
They don't usually do the months on that. They just give the release year, which is not necessarily the production year either. So I imagine if that's the case, he was probably doing Avatar before Terminator Salvation, but Avatar was a big ass fucking movie.
Yeah,
and probably took a little bit longer.
A lot more CG.
But he had a Terminator movie, he had a James Cameron movie, and he had Clash of the Titans, all like back to fucking back.
Yeah, that should have easily made him a household name. And
I think he was good in all of them. I just don't know if he was what happened to him, which is unfortunate because I like him.
Well, he's in a lot of just okay movies after that, which a lot of it I don't like. Hacksaw Ridge, I've heard is an amazing movie, but I have not watched it yet.
Well, if I had to guess, it was probably he was in Clash of the Titans and he was a big name, and apparently fans didn't like that fucking movie, so I imagine they just saw him as not being a bankable name anymore.
I guess not. He's still making movies. He's got the new Avatar coming out, and he's also got he's got a movie right here that's got two movies that have 2002.
9 Bullets and Under the Banner of Heaven. That's a TV show because it says 7 episodes.
Ah, okay, well.
And Fires is a TV show because it says 6 episodes. But okay, he's still doing stuff.
The movie is good. The original Clash of the Titans, good movie, especially for nostalgia's sake. The remake, I think, is really good. And that if you didn't like it, just give it a rewatch. Keep your mind open and just give it a rewatch.
And we got new movie right here, and the sequel's okay. I think if you like the kind of spectacle, continue the spectacle. Watch the remake or watch the sequel.
Looks like he's fighting fire-breathing turtles.
He's fighting a chimera.
That's a chimera?
It is a chimera.
That thing's fucking huge.
And yeah, they definitely go with the. It does have a snake tail at least, so it's at least semi. It's got like 2 heads. They breathe fire, and then it's got a snake tail.
Where's the lion head? Where's the goat head?
They don't go super fucking. I mean, it's weird. They kind of combined it to make it look like a monster rather than an amalgamation of critters.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I think the new Clash is better. So if you hate Clash of the Titans 2010, you're probably going to hate Wrath of the Titans too, but it's still kind of cool.
So our opinion is give it another watch.
Yeah. Oh, did you say? I know you rated the new Clash slightly higher. Does that mean that's your pick for the news?
Yes. So yeah, after watching them, the old Clash is always going to have a place in my heart. The movie's always going to be a great movie to me. And anytime I hear da 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 da, that music brings me joy. Because I love the soundtrack to that original movie. As far as like storyline and the acting in the movie, I think the new Clash is better, just because I think it's a more cohesive storyline that's more believable, and it's less about Daddy just throwing the fucking credit card at you so you can just get by.
It's kind of like Daddy throwing the credit card at you and you being like, I don't fucking want your money, Dad. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, where in this one, in the old Clash, it was like Daddy throws a credit card and you're like, cool fucking thing. I'm getting all the toys with this.
I'm going to fuck up so many bitches with this.
I'm going to put on this helmet and watch women sleep. This is amazing.
Oh, hot.
All right.
I think we can put a pin on this one.
Yeah.
Look forward to a new episode of Old School, New School next month, which is undecided. So let us know.
Yeah.
We've got some ideas picked out, but
say it in the comments.
Well, we're always looking at comments too to kind of see like which one we like, and we've definitely seen like Dredd versus Dredd or Judge Dredd. We've seen like again, I give us stuff that's closer because I don't think Judge Dredd versus Dredd is. I think we're gonna sit down and be like Dredd, fucking much better.
Honestly, who knows? We might watch the old Sylvester Stallone version to be like, there's a lot to really like about
and
this
that could
movie.
be. Maybe I'm not giving the Sylvester Stallone one a fair shot because he takes off the fucking helmet.
And that's what kills me for those movies. Like, don't get me wrong, neither one of us are not like hardcore fucking Judge Dredd fans, but like,
but how fucking cool?
That's the one rule.
Yeah, how fucking cool is Carl Urban?
Yeah, he never took it off. And
fucking scowl constant.
Yeah, he was so fucking good. Carl Urban is a treasure.
And like he shot at the woman and pushed her off the fucking edge. It was fucking the coolest way to kill a guy.
Yeah,
kill a bitch ever. Like,
but
fuck you, whore.
Like, who knows? Like, just for the fact that we get to go and watch the new Dredd over,
yeah,
like,
that
might make it worth it.
It might. It might.
So, say down in the comments what you would like us to watch.
Give us some more ideas.
I know that Amber is like dying for them to make another 27 Dresses remake, so she can be like 27 Dresses. So, but I'm not watching that one, baby. I'm sorry, not again. If you watch it, then I'll probably be sitting in the room with you. But yeah. So.
All right, let's wrap this one up.
So go watch Clash.
Yes. See you next week.
Later, fuckers.